So how is everyone? I hope you're all well. Look, some of you will know that I have had a problem with Buster Murdoch for a while. And, my mindset is that it's I struggle to think that when it's a family like the Murdochs and they're doing the things that they do, they're involved in the things that they're involved in, and we're seeing firsthand. We're front seat drivers to some of the stuff. Alex Murdaugh is now being convicted of killing his wife Maggie and son Paul, and I think to myself, Buster must have had knowledge of what was going on, the descent into chaos that was surrounding that family, and therefore I paint him in with the others, rightfully or wrongfully. Some people will say, yeah, that's right, some people will say it's wrong, and I still feel that he knew a lot about what was going on. I still have thoughts and feelings surrounding Maggie and Paul's death specifically, and even though Buster had a motive for that situation, I I struggle with it. I struggle to understand what happened that night, how it came about that Maggie and Paul ended up deceased at the hands of Alex. Even though he's gone through due process, he's been found guilty. There's some elements of that sit odd to me, sit very, very odd, sit very bizarre, and maybe that's for another video later on down the line. But what we are talking about today is, look, the Stephen Smith case. We know the Stephen Smith case, that we read a letter the other day that kind of contradicts some things about Sandy, the mother of Stephen. It seems that early on, she very much thought that Buster was involved. Later on, she's come forward and said that she doesn't feel that Buster's involved. Now, maybe that is just time and further investigation herself, because we know that she has been involved in trying to find out the truth for some time. And we now have something that's come up that means that we may owe Buster an apology with respect of comments made saying that we feel that he is involved in the Stephen Smith case. Now, what I am going to say is, just because other people have been named, it doesn't mean that they're not connected to Buster. That was a little bit like the puppy thing, wasn't it? When you give someone and then you take it away. No, but look, if there is an apology owed, then an apology will be given. And at the moment, we are seeing that other names have been brought up. I'm going to show you it quickly now. So, Stephen Smith probe, bombshell report names persons of interest in his killing. South Carolina authorities have zeroed in on two persons of interest. And bear with me, because what I'm going to do, when we've gone through this, I'm going to say something. 2015 homicide of Stephen Smith, who was found dead in the middle of the road, miles from Alex Murdaugh's former hunting estate, according to a bombshell new report from Fitz News. Rumours have swirled that the Murdaughs are somehow involved in the 19-year-old's July 2015 slaying, and the name of the once powerful legal dynasty is referenced dozens of times in the original Highway Patrol report. But the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, the SLED, has identified Patrick Wilson and Sean Connolly as persons of interest, neither of whom are Murdaughs, according to the local news site. SLED didn't immediately return a request for comment. Wilson and Connolly could not be immediately reached either. We've got a picture there of Stephen, and it says both Wilson and Connolly lived in the area near where Stephen Smith's body was found, and there was information obtained by SLED investigators which has reportedly drawn a sharper focus on them as potential suspects. Fitz News founder Will Folks wrote, about 5 months after Smith's death, Wilson's stepfather, Darrell Williams, allegedly called investigators with a tip. His stepson, he said, told him that Connolly was driving a vehicle when it struck and killed Stephen Smith. Wilson and Connolly were teenagers at the time. SLED opened a homicide investigation into Smith's death on the June 23rd, 2021, about 2 weeks after Alex Murdaugh fatally shot his wife Maggie, 52, and his son Paul, 22. Smith was found 10 miles from the Murdaugh hunting estate where the mother and son were killed. Speculation raged in the wake of Alex's conviction for the double murder that his living son Buster was involved. Earlier this month, Buster issued a statement denying he had anything to do with Smith's demise. And here we go. It says, a lawyer for Smith's mother, Sandy Smith, told Fox News Digital there was no evidence the Murdaughs were connected to the killing. We have no direct knowledge that any Murdaugh was involved in any shape or form in Stephen's murder. Eric Bland said. He added that Smith was openly gay and that the case had the earmarking of a hate crime. Now, this does go on. Obviously, you can find this yourself. Some of you may have already done it, and I'm not going to go too much into that because this video would end up being about half an hour long, and I know you don't want that. But it does go into a huge amount of detail about one-night stands and some posts that Stephen had apparently put on a specific website and the graphic nature of such. This is what I struggle with. This is what I struggle with. This happened in 2015, and when the Murdaughs were about, Murdaugh's uncle got very quickly involved in it, said that he would offer help, and then retracted that help and wandered away. Now, was it because he initially thought that his relations could have been involved and then quickly found out that they weren't, so didn't think that he needed to be involved? Was that family just so bent that their own family saw this happen and thought, oh fuck, here we go, I need to get involved and help stay the fires? Do you know what I mean? And afterwards found out, look, Buster didn't do it, Paul didn't do it, Alex weren't involved, I don't need to be here. Possible, but how is it now that just weeks after Alex Murdaugh is locked up, that we now have people named? We have names of people. What was the problem in 2015? What was the issue then? Why wasn't their job done right then? Let me know down below. Give me an explanation. Make that make sense. How can, if a family didn't have any involvement in it, how is it seemingly that while they were around, this was buried, while they were being investigated, it got reignited, and not weeks after the patriarch gets locked up and the key thrown away, we have names? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.